Hey guys, it's Laura Dabbles here, and wow, like the end of the month has gotten very stressful very suddenly. Um, I hope that it has not been the same for you guys, or maybe there really is something in the air, or in the stars, I should say. Who knows? But yeah, I figured that today I would do another top 2 video. This one about divination in general, because I have two very good books and resources on divination that cover all kinds of different topics and styles of divination. So these two books are The Complete Book of Divination by Llewellyn and The Fortune Telling Book by Raymond Buckland. All right. So we're going to start with this one. This one is definitely more practicum. While this one is a dictionary, right? This one also has people and places, and you can go through and find anything. It even talks about the Witch of Endor from the Bible. Like, it's a very comprehensive, encyclopedia, actually, because dictionary is not the right word. It would be encyclopedia. There's all kinds of things. Fortune telling in pop culture. Picture of Aleister Crowley when he was younger. Not bad looking when he was younger. Obviously, tarot. Gosh, their tarot section is huge in here. Lots of very good information. And where I have actually gone through and found, wanting to research things, it's surprisingly comprehensive, but it might not be that comprehensive on how to do those things, right? So this is where The Complete Book of Divination by Llewellyn, written by Richard Webster, comes into play. Now, I will say I was a little bit disappointed that this complete book of divination was not written by multiple authors. It was all written by one guy. And I'm sure he did amazing research because the book is good. It is a good book. But I got really, really pampered by the Llewellyn's Complete Book of Ceremonial Magic that I did a video on. That, I really, really liked having each section written by an expert of that field. And I thought that would be something that would carry over into all of Llewellyn's complete books of blanks, right? But unfortunately, it doesn't, because I also recently got their Llewellyn's Complete Book of Chakras, and it's not written by multiple people. It's just written by the one person. However, she's very good, right? But I'm definitely the kind of person that I like to have multiple perspectives on an issue, preferably perspectives that differ in theory or practice, right? So that I get a more well-rounded view of things, which is why I'm actually doing the top 2 series, right? Why do a book review on one book when I can compare and contrast between 2 books of the same, topic, and you can have the best of both worlds that way. And that's what I like. So yeah, Richard Webster does a pretty good job. So we're going to dive into this book and kind of what's in it. Obviously, they always have the dummy chapter. What is divination, right? The history of it, which I found quite fascinating, actually. I didn't think there would be something in there that I didn't already know, but I was pleasantly surprised by Richard Webster's depth of research. And then we get into the systems of divination that he talks about and gives practicum for. And they're in alphabetical order, which I really, really like. So I'm just going to run you through what he actually talks about in depth in here. Astrology, augury, automatic writing, bibliomancy, bone reading, candle reading, Chinese astrology, coin divination, crystals and gemstones, dice divination, domino divination, dowsing, dreams, egg divination, face reading, flower divination, geomancy, herb divination, I Ching, Ifa divination, mahjong, numerology, ogums, palmistry, paper reading, playing cards, runes, sand reading, scrying, tea leaf reading, tarot. So those are all of the ones that he goes into depth about and has their own, several page section of practicum and information. He then in chapter 4 lists off some very unusual methods of divination that he has personally come across, but none of these have practicum. They're just really interesting and strange. Like there was this guy who did banana divinations. Very interesting, right? Very out there, very different. Chapter 5 is actually a really, really good chapter that I suggest reading first. And I feel like in a lot of ways, chapter 5 should have been chapter 3. Right? Before you get into all the practicum, it should have been there first because it's how to choose the right oracle for you. You know, that seems to be something that I should read first before I look at all the different ones. But anyway. Chapter 6 is preparing for divination. And really, this is the kind of thing that, like, I like that they threw it in there, but everyone is going to do their own thing anyway. Because that ties into whatever system of magic, whatever belief system this person is operating in will dictate that anyway. But it's still good to put it out there to beginners like, hey, like you should do something kind of special before you go into this. You know, it's all about entering that sacred space. However you do that for you, whatever that means to you, it's important to enter sacred space before you do anything like that. And I like that he points out that you should do that. And then they have the appendix. The appendix is different types of divination, and it is a very, very small dictionary in the back that actually has a ton of different divination styles. And it was through reading that appendix that I decided I wanted a book on divination that was more encyclopedic, right? Because I loved that appendix in here so much. And I was like, oh man, like I want a book that's just this, but huge. Enter Raymond Buckland, the fortune-telling book. I mean, I really like this book. Again, it's an encyclopedia. And I'm the kind of person that like, I'll just sit there and like flip through an encyclopedia when I'm bored. And just read through it. I know that I'm not the only kind of person that does that, but that's just the kind of person I am with encyclopedias. I love it. I love encyclopedias. I love learning new things, new random and strange things, right? For instance, omphalomancy. Omphalic pertains to the navel. Omphalomancy is divining by the number of knots on the umbilical cord at the birth of a child. These knots indicate the number of children that the mother will have after that one. Since the umbilical cord is part of the newborn child, it was believed to be intimately linked to that child's life and fate. Magically, the cord was regarded as a cure for barrenness. It was also regarded as the seed of the soul that wanders in dreams and that finally separates at death. Very extensive. I've never heard of anything like that before. As a writer, and especially as a writer of fantasy novels, reading stuff like this helps me world build and build culture, but it also gives me an understanding of spirituality. It's like, well, of course the umbilical cord would be very spiritually significant. What are my thoughts on the umbilical cord? Why would I find the umbilical cord like, how could I use the umbilical cord as a symbol in my magic practice? How do I already view that symbol? Right? I mean, it's just, I like to think. I meditate a lot and I just like to think. So I like things that make me think. It's just what I like. Wow, there's actually a section in here telling you what the Old Testament is. That's kind of cool. Oh. Numerology. Yeah, I stumbled across the numerology section. I was going on for pages. I was like, where's the next one? Nesiomancy. According to Henry Cockerham in the English Dictionary, or an interpreter of hard English words, nesiomancy is divination by calling up damned spirits. It is therefore akin to necromancy. With necromancy, the spirits called up are not necessarily damned. They may be the spirits of recently dead relatives. But with nesiomancy, the spirits summoned are of dubious extraction, some or all of them having had no previous life on this earth. As in ceremonial magic, they may be termed demons, devils, shades, wraiths, or similar. There's more to it, but I'm not going to bore you guys. There's stuff about the moon phases in here, and the significance of the moon phases to diviners, as we are called. Mathomancy. Children's nursery rhymes, songs, and stories are rich depositories of ancient folklore. This has been elaborated upon by such writers as Catherine Briggs, Lewis Spence, and more recently, Iona and Peter Opie. The counting out games of children's are especially interesting in that they contain remnants of mathomancy. Mathomancy is divination by counting. And then he says something else. Charles Godfrey, in his book on the Etruscans, says, a vast amount of ancient erudition on the subject of divining by numbers and similar matters may be found in a very rare work, Tractus. Oh God, fucking Latin. Fucking Latin. We're gonna skip that. Yeah, that's it. A big Latin name. Tractus Philologicus de Sortitione Veterum Hebraeum in primis ex es scriptura Talmuda. I feel like I just summoned a demon by accident. Fucking Latin. Anyway, you guys get it. There's just all kinds of weird stuff. The first one under D, dactyliomancy, a form of divination performed by means of rings. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Yeah, so together, these two books, for me, really complete my needs as a writer, as a spiritual person, as someone who, like, absolutely adores divination, in case you haven't noticed by all the fucking tarot decks I have back there. This is great stuff. Like, here, I have some practicum on a few more popular and modern things, right? Here, I can read about, you know, types of divination that no longer exist, that we don't have evidence for how they were performed or how they worked, but we know that they were a thing, but we don't know how they worked. Right? You know, it's like if palmistry had fallen so far by the wayside that no one remembered how to do it anymore, but like you knew that you could read someone's fortune by their palms, but you didn't know how, we would still be talking about like, man, I wonder how they did that. I wonder what this means. I wonder what that means. Because we are far more fascinated by what we don't know than by what we can find out from research. I feel like that is a very human thing. You know, we want what we can't have. If we know that no one knows how to do it, we're going to sit there, we're going to obsess over it, and we're going to try to figure out how they did it, aren't we? Because that's what we do. We want what we can't have. But with these two books, I feel like I have the best of both as far as like general divination books go. I have resources for whenever I'm writing. I have resources for whenever I'm just bored and looking to expand my mind and my mind's possibilities for divination. Because you'd be surprised. You know, you might read something about animals, you know, what different animals mean, and then you have a weird animal in your dream, and your subconscious read what you read and was like, so that's how I can tell this bitch what she needs to do. Okay, tiger in your dream, eagle in your dream, mouse in your dream, right? Your subconscious is soaking up and memorizing everything that you read all the time, right? So I feel like these books are really good for giving your subconscious symbolic fodder to feed back at you later. Because I feel like in America, we don't really have much of a culture or significant belief system that's unified across our society that really feeds us those kinds of symbols for us to communicate with our subconscious with. I think that's why so many Americans are out of touch, right? So I think it's just generally good to read up on all these different types of divination and symbols and things like that and how they might work so that you can give your subconscious mind vocabulary to talk to you with. Because I don't think that we get enough of that, and that's just an opinion. That's not stated in any of these books. It's just an opinion. So here they are. I like them quite a lot. I feel like they go very well together. I can cross-reference between the two at times, and I like getting that perspective, right? I hope that you guys like this top 2 video. If you did, please hit like. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you like this video, you like this channel, and you like me, please hit the subscribe button. And until next time, happy dabbling and bye-bye.